Oh, hello everyone, Sharing Games here. I wanted to make a quick update video since my last thoughts video. I completed the demo and then I gave my thoughts on the demo, and I thought I would update since I've now completed the game. So overall my thoughts are fairly the same as what I had in the demo. I still think the graphics are really great. I like the looks of it. For some people I think the dungeons might be somewhat boring looking. I mean, now I've seen more dungeons. In the demo I only saw a few and they look the same, but now there are, slight color changes. I would say slightly more than just color changes, but overall they look very similar, but it's a mystery dungeon game, so that doesn't bother me too bad. The story I find very intriguing. I was always very curious to continue. The only bad thing about that is I think the story was fairly short. I was able to complete it in around 20 hours. Took me 25 because the RNG gods didn't bless me that much, but I'm definitely sure there are people who could beat it in 20 if they have a lot of luck or are just really good at these type of games. Another thing I really liked about the game was the base building, or rather maybe base decorating, you can call it. As you progress through the game, you'll be able to get these blueprints and craft different items like chairs or plushies that you can add to your base, and I thought that was pretty cool and I liked that feature. Another thing I really liked about the game is that you won't get lost ever playing the game. So there are often, games, this could be good or bad. I mean, if you really don't want any hints, you never have to press the option button. But for example, the game will ask you to find X item, and you might not know, okay, what floor of the dungeon do I need to get to find that item, and instead of being really lost and, overlooking and missing the item, you can just press the options button, and I think like 99% of the time, they will tell you on what floor you need to find the items, so you won't get lost from that kind of stuff. Another thing I really liked about the game is that there's a good variety of skills to choose from, and it's very random, as I explained earlier. So when you level up, it kind of like Slay the Spire, you get to choose from certain sets of skills and pick one that you like. You may have seen that already as I was playing. But there's a bit more customization to it than just that. When you get to your base later on, you can choose kind of classes, and then pick what skills you would like to occur more often. So like I picked medic, for example, because I like having HP cards appear more often, but you can have attack cards appear more often, and I also have inventory cards appear more often since I like to have a large inventory. As you see now, I have a large inventory. When I was playing the demo, I only had 5 items, and that was a bit hard. And also, besides just adding to your inventory, you are able to remove cards from not from your inventory, but your skills that pop up as you level. So, for example, for me, I've kind of disabled a few of the bomb skills because I rarely use bombs, but for people who really like bombs, they could of course disable other items, and of course you don't have to disable any items. The choice is really up to you in the end, but as you craft more blueprints, you'll be able to disable more items, and disable more cards that you don't want to appear when you level up, which is very nice feature. I also like that the game auto-saves on each floor. This works very well because I've had the game crash already a few times on me, and that wasn't very nice, but thankfully, thanks to the autosave, it wasn't as if I missed 20 floors of progress or something like that. I was able to continue right away to the beginning of the floor that I left off on. So, for example, I'm on layer 4 right now, and if my game would crash, I would be able to continue from layer 4 again. So yeah, my cons, mainly, I already mentioned, the game is a bit short and you can beat it fairly fast. So while I did purchase this game at full price, I think for others they might want to wait until it's on sale because it is rather short. And well, for me that's, yeah, I don't know. For RPGs I typically like to have them be at least like 40 hours long. And even if you do everything in this game, I've attempted the 200 floor dungeon, endless dungeon. I've gotten to floor 179 and then I died. But even if you do that and craft every item and do everything, it's not going to take you 40 hours, I think. It may be close, it could, but I think you could do it in less than 40 hours. So another feature I really forgot about the pros to mention, I like the Tamagotchi-like figures. You may have heard that beeping. That's just a request to play with her, and then you can play games with her. Well, only one, I say games, like that's plural, but you can play with her, and you can also clean up her poop. You see in the poop icon, let's see, I need enough energy to do that. So you can play with her, clean her poop, feed her. So these elements made me very nostalgic because I had a Tamagotchi as a kid. So okay, let's go back to the cons. Sorry, this is not scripted, so my thoughts are kind of all over the place. As I mentioned with the length, the game was short, but if RNG gods like you, then yes, it's going to be shorter, and if the RNG gods hate you, it will be longer. I somewhat disliked that there were no voices. It didn't deter me, of course, from buying the game. I just preferred generally to have voices in games, and this one did not have any voices, sadly. And yeah, but it wasn't a big deal. It would have just been cool to have it be voiced, but I mean, I grew up playing Lunar had some voices. What other games did I play? But anyways, I grew up playing a lot of games that weren't fully voiced, so I don't mind reading a lot of dialogue. One of my cons for me was the last dungeon. I mean, most of the game, this isn't a hardcore rogue. It's more like, I would compare it to like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where if you die, you know, it's not all for nothing, and you do get to save. All of your items, even if you die, are converted to resources, so you never feel like your run is worthless, and you can use those resources to help you with blueprints and yeah, create cool items for your base, which is always good. But the only bad thing I found is the very last dungeon of the game. It's, I won't say exactly how long it is because I don't want any spoilers, but okay, I'm running out of energy and I don't have any energy. I do have an energy. I believe that. Okay. Anyways, I won't say how long the dungeon is, but the bad thing about the dungeon is that it is quite long, and unlike the other dungeons where if you die you get resources, in this dungeon you have to start from the very beginning if you die and you don't save any resources. So that was quite the difficulty spike. So people who really like hard games are going to really like that and enjoy that challenge, I think. But for me it was a bit of annoyance because it took me about, I don't know, probably 15 runs to beat the final dungeon, and before that I probably had 10 runs on another hard dungeon that was like 16 floors, but the final one isn't 16 floors. I won't say how long it is, but it's a bit longer than that. Okay, I'm just gonna move to the next floor because I'm dying a bit there. So yeah, the last dungeon, I didn't like that it was a bit hard. I wish you could have saved your resources, but it wasn't the end of the world and I did get through it. So it's definitely not something that would make me not purchase the game. It's just something to be aware of, that it is quite difficult towards the end, especially the final dungeon. And yeah, because it's not like, I'm used to, of course, Disgaea, where you know you have the item dungeon and you're able to leave on floor 10, and in this game, or whatever floor you want, you know, you just have an escape and then you can join and try again later. But in this game, once you are done with once you're at the final dungeon and working through it, you're not able to continue, and if you die, then that was a bit disappointing. But otherwise, overall, I still really enjoyed the game. I think I would still give it like an 8.5. I didn't like the 2 endings that I got. It would have been nice if there was a 3rd ending. I felt both endings yeah, just were a bit disappointing for me, but it didn't make or break the game overall for me. I think overall it's still a very enjoyable game, and I would still recommend it to people. Okay, well, I hope this was informative and helpful, and thanks for watching. Bye bye!